Hello, everyone. My name's Jeremy Dennis, lead artist of Moz House and BIPOC Art Studio, also today's host for the Moz House podcast. Today, we actually have a wonderful guest, Moz House alumni artist Pamella Allen. She was a resident artist back in October 2021, the third ever artist in residence, and we've had about 45 since then. I'm going to briefly tell you Pamella's biography. She's a descendant of a long line of mystic storytellers. Through her visual art, she investigates the intersections of memory and nature, body and soul. She was born in Jamaica and is currently based in Jamaica as an artist. She uses artifacts from her life experiences, pulled from memories and observation. Her visual art is layered and processed, mixed media paintings, printmaking, sculpture, paper making, installation, photography and video essay, prose, combined to create her own archetype, a universal language of images found and remembered that speaks to the diversity of her heritage, lived experiences, and reverence for the mystic found in our natural world. Welcome, Pamella, to the Moz House podcast. So excited to have you on and check in on how things have been going. I wanted to go back to the early impulse to your travel and going back to Jamaica. You're talking about wanting to have a connection or a new memory. I'm curious, as an artist myself, have you been able to find local resources or family members or libraries to create a connection at this point in your life?
I found family members that I didn't know existed. My aunt is in the States and we were quite close. She said, just go to Great Pond Road and ask for the Lawrences. I thought, okay, how am I supposed to find anybody like that? So I did, and I found them. It was insane. Well, I walked up to a woman who had a little roadside shop. All of this, I am in the process of writing and painting and all that stuff. We went to a roadside shop where Molderine was Miss Ruby's granddaughter, Merle's niece, and all of these, and she's looking at me and looking at me. She's like, yeah, don't you know that you're looking at your family? I am your cousin. At first, I was going to start out on this side, the North Coast, and I ended up hitting the middle of the island. And then came here to the North Coast to seek out my mother's family line and where she was born. She's buried in the JDF, which is the Jamaica Defense Force. It's the military base there because my dad was in the military and I was born on a military base. And so that's where she was laid to rest. Finding her remains was a crazy story. There have been all of these connections that lead me to believe spiritually that I've been guided to find it now. As an artist, I'll tell you, Jeremy, I'm only saying this out loud because I'm talking to you. The one person I could never paint, one portrait I could never paint was my mother. I grew up with her portrait. You know those old portraits back in the day when they were black and white, but they painted them?
Uh-huh.
This is like in the 50s, 60s. So this is what this portrait is like. It's really the only, I have just a few photographs. But that was always in my room. And this face looking out at you is always my go-to way of drawing, but not hers. When I do my memory sketches, it always proves out this face staring at it. Anyone who's ever taken a class when I'm doing the demo for a face, that's the face. But I cannot paint her. I cannot for the life of me. I'm curious to see if after spending some time here, at least spending some time here, walking where she walked, if that will manifest. I came away understanding that there's certain things you're just never going to know. Mysteries are mysteries. Life is mystery. That's a recurring theme in my work. That's a recurring theme in my prose. As an artist, what do I do with that? What have I done with it? I think it's the reason that I work from memory. I think that's why it so informs my work. Finding that connection or understanding what that connection is. It hasn't changed the direction of the work. I'm still doing, the process is still the same. the natural elements, the paper making part, which is the pigments from organic elements, and then the herbs, the tinctures and the herbs that are healing. That's probably the newest part in the process. Using the foraged, the wild forage herbs. Yeah, in terms of my mother and how that embodies in my work, this so far I feel as though it tells me that my process is taking good care of me, mentally, spiritually, in that regard, and will move me forward, propel me forward. History is important, however you find it, because there has been such a really strong effort to change and manipulate history that you find it in yourself. You embody it in yourself. You find it in yourself. That's what, yeah, I think that's what I've been. I think that's what me and you and Shinnecock had. That understanding of history, that seeking to find history and understanding what was lost.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to ask, since your work is not only is it assemblage and paper making, and it all deals with the theme of memory, and it sounds like you're filling in the gaps of maybe stories that should have been there or maybe should have been experienced in real time. I'm curious about your maybe non-visual art production. Do you take tons of photos or videos of your time there in Jamaica, or are you more of a journal keeper in terms of documenting every day and what processes lead to what actions?
It's both. I find it is both, and taking visual where I can, absorbing where I can, being mindful of the both. And I find often when I use the camera, right now, this is the device camera, not a real camera, but a device camera. I'm finding my advantage and letting it do its thing while looking elsewhere with my eyes. It's in trying not to miss as much. I'm really trying to drink as much as I can visually and factually through all my senses, through my hearing, through my smell, through auditory, through smell, through observation and writing. And I'm growing things. Growing food, growing herbs, preserving and drying. Not so much now in Ocherias, but when I was in the mountains, I was doing a lot of wild foraging. It's what our ancestors did. It's trying to tap into ancient knowledge. Again, as I'm foraging, I'm coming across farmers and I'm looking for elders who hold this knowledge, how to use what they use it for, what part of the tree. Mas Dudley, here in Jamaica, the elders are called Mas. So Mas Dudley is a farmer. He's up in the mountains and he would tell you what every part of the tree is. I'm sure your grandma probably could, or your great grandma. The fruit was used for this, the bark is used for that, the leaf is used for that. What part to eat, what part not to eat, when to eat it, how to process it. All of these things I'm exploring here. And it is a continuation, but because folks who live in a long time now, but they're living to 100 and change here. So those are the ones I'm going for first. Great. For that knowledge, because I realize once I start asking people, once they get to my age, you're younger than me, my age, and once you start to get into you're younger than me, once you start to get into your 40s, then folks, the knowledge base lessens. So that part of the everyday process that falls into the art making, that's how I found anato, the anato plant of the anato seed that is used as a dye. That is what adobo is made with, the red stuff. It's a sunblock. It's a this, it's a that. It has all these curative properties. This is what the tree looks like. This is what the leaf looks like. This is what the sucker looks like. All of that information that informs the process. It informs everything I'm doing. It informs the paper. Making paper with a can. Making paper with the banana bar, banana leaf. Paper with Malmark plum tree with locals bark tree. In the mountains, they call it forestry. In the different regions of Jamaica, it's called different things. Just gaining all that knowledge, because that's going into the book of herbs, that I will find into the handmade paper that I'm making from the bark and the hand and the banana leaf that's growing everywhere. Banana. That wonderful, beautiful stuff. And then there's the scarcity, right? Then there's the same issues that Jamaicans have, that Shinnecock have, right? You're not allowed access to the beach. When you come visit, the beach that's a half a block up is one of the very few beaches that are free that has easy access. Everything else, you better be spending a lot of money at a resort where you're going to get out. Water scarcity, land scarcity, place where fruits and vegetables grow readily. Why is there a need to import tomatoes from anywhere? Why is everything so expensive? Why is all of the same questions and all of the same societal issues that we artists look at and live with and question ourselves are here? And they were in Malawi when I lived there, and they were in India when I did a residency there, and they were in the UK when I lived there, and in France when I lived there. It's always, I'm finding the similarities and the differences that are heartening and disheartening. So the similarities that exist that, again, manifest in the work.
I think you're getting to my next question too, or almost covering it actually, which is you're talking about immersing yourself in community, understanding local accomplishments and challenges. I wonder, now that you're connecting with maybe native Jamaican communities or family members or people who have been there for generations, has your work changed to address their particular, whether it's like challenges or things they want to voice, or maybe artistic mediums that haven't been championed? Has that been an element in your work?
I find it's coming, and I feel like the story that's coming from the assemblage work, everything that I've been picking up things from what I call rare being shared, or well, and what's gonna come is gonna be, it's an alone having hard time finding words. The amount of rubbish, plastic rubbish, it turns into visual white noise. So people just throw it down. It's like plastic bottles everywhere. And on this beach, I go and I do my prayer in the morning, and I pray to Mother Ocean, Sister C. It's Jane. And every morning, especially on this part of the coast, the currents are quite strong, and so they're depositing things on this beach, which makes it wonderful for foraging. And that big, massive fan coral that you saw on the veranda, that came up for it. But then also it's garbage. It's literal refuse, plastic, rubbish, kids' toys, water bottles. And every morning I think, some mornings I clean it because I can, and then other mornings I don't. And I just apologize to Mother Ocean, Sister Sea, to the great creator. I apologize because what the ocean is doing is spitting out our refuse and telling us to pick it up. It's like, why you putting this in me? I say all this to say that an assemblage work with all this refuse is coming. And artists have been doing for a long time. There are some shows that you did or curated, of course, participated in where, not which one it was, but it was an artist doing something with refuse, with the stuff that comes up or that they've been collecting on the beach, garbage. And it was beautiful, right? But there's something coming out of it that is unique to here. And I don't know how it's going to manifest, but it's big in me. It's very big in me. So that is one thing that is a direct response to here. Pigment work, or finding, foraging the natural pigments. That's a direct response to here. The elders speak, which is writings, musings, podcasts from elders. And that is from here. And that directly connects to residing with elders. My parents are gone. I can't even visit their graves here. That's another thing I found out here. A lot of people built over them. You know, so you guys, right? Oh, I can't even go and sit and visit, and someone built over it. The reaching out to the elders that I can find more knowledge, which is what I was doing everywhere else too, but here it really does take on a unique because I don't have voids have to be filled. Voids can be filled in this way.
Definitely. And it's amazing and maybe surprising or not surprising that there's so many similarities in the community over there, the community here, the misjudgment and injustice. I think that with the work that you're doing as an individual artist, you have so much awareness and sensitivity to those issues and being able to speak about them. That's one strength, but also being able to create art around. It sounds like environmental work and trying to clean up beaches and create awareness around that while creating something beautiful from the refuge. So I'm curious, maybe for my last question, how you as a teaching artist, how are you finding hope? How are you finding community? How are you inspiring perhaps other artists or other people who experience your work there in Jamaica?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the one thing I found when I arrived here is I was asking about arts, what arts do children have available to them in public schools. And the art programs here are incredible. It's wild. I'm like, what? The art programs here, the kids have everything, everything. They have access to everything, which I found very an interesting contrast to the public school system in the States. In terms of finding community as a teaching artist, the one who shares process that is. It happens organically. It's happened organically with the kids that I interact with. And the idea, I'm going to start to do the virtual classes, the honoring and artists share, but that's for the world. In terms of doing it here, and that is for me as well. I have the new artist friend, which is quite fun. We're finding community here. She's actually my neighbor, and she's a sculptor and was a professor of sculpture and fiber arts, sculpture and fiber arts at Pamella College here, which is the biggest university. It is the biggest university. She happens to live upstairs, so we're collaborating on some sculptural pieces around the paper making. She's going to be jumping on with me classes and workshops. And because she's an elder and she's not all into the online, I'm probably going to set her up to do some virtual. But you'll meet her. Her name is. In fact, we are going to go to the Jamaican Biennale, which is happening for annual. It is happening in Kingston with the curator, Dr. Ashley James. And she was I'm looking at her Instagram page, PhD Associate Curator of Contemporary Art at Guggenheim. And now she is has curated Green Expo at the National Gallery in Kingston. And I'm very excited to meet all the artists and see all the artists' work, see what they're doing, just hear from them. But I will definitely share the show and we'll be taking pictures. Here we go. The National Gallery of Jamaica cordially invites you to the opening of the Kingston Biennial 2024 Green Expo. The inspiration for Green Expo lies in the flag, This is I'm reading it off the page. I've long been inspired by Kingston's natural and built landscape, defined by more muted and soft tones, blue colors. And I know what I'm reading, that this is just from the post. So this must be one of the artists talking about their photography. I don't care. I should also say before we go that what we've created there at Mom's house is definitely inspired and informed my approach to what I'm doing here, why I have a two-bedroom, right? Why I have an extra bed, why I have it's really for artists and down and have the times, creating time. As time moves forward, I definitely like to fund these funding to get artists room and board and food and drink and all that stuff, which working on with Sarah to have her come down from 36.5. But yeah, it's definitely about creating these outposts around the world where artists can land and do their practice and breathe and heal and drink jelly coconut and dip into the ocean every morning. Because life is crazy, and I see that artists get on with things always, creative thinkers that get on with things. But it's pretty heavy right now what's going on there in the United States. And my heart goes out to everyone that were shocked by the present, but guy, we will be all right.
I totally agree, and it's such a great point to end on. But yeah, I think we miss you in New York City. Every time I go, I'm thinking of the places your art are and where you used to be. And do you have any timeline for when you might be back in the States, or are you in Jamaica for a while?
Oh no, I definitely want to come back and forth. I love New York. It's my home. It's like Jamaica's my home. And I'll never let go of it. It will never let go of me. And besides, a place is the people that you love in it. There's really people that I love in it. Never let go of it. Maybe this summer from the UK, maybe. Because I do want to check in with everybody and do some workshops while I'm there. And I do need to get a gallery going, popping over there. Because I do have work that needs to be sold. But also to create this connection between here and there, building the community, diving in here, because there is an island full of wonderful trees here that also are traveling. And they both have to work as well. So I think that there's a big number of people feeling want to continue to speak out and speak the issues that they're speaking out on creatively. And again, keeping you going and creating those connections. Me too. You need a minute from New York. You need to come to Jamaica and explore, chill, in a safe, creative space. You haven't. That's the point. And, finding that every place, every residency I've ever done, every place I've ever been, I learned so much from bringing it into this. Through the trauma, through the crazy, through the nonsense, we find balance and equilibrium. It makes us stronger because it kills, right, Jeremy?
Exactly. Excited to see the space that you're creating down there. And yeah, I think that's the whole point of Ma's House. We don't want it to be one of kind. We want it to be part of a network of healing spaces. So I know it takes time. I know it takes a lot of passion and volunteer hours. Looking forward to seeing your space as part of this larger whole. Thank you again, Pamella, for joining us on the Ma's House podcast. And you're really excited to catch up with you if you're in New York this year.
Definitely. We'll stay in touch as we do. And again, your parent tell me this great story about the Jamaican trip. They need to come and have a better story.
Definitely. Yeah.